All right, good morning and welcome to Wabash Talks. We are with Mitch Feigert and also with Judy Ward. They are here from the Kiwanis Club. Is that the start of, is that the whole thing? But it's Southside Park Project.
Southside Park Project.
All right. So, Mitch, how are you involved in this thing?
I live across the street, so I think when the conversation started, Jordan Tandy was one of kind of the beginning imaginaries of this project, and so being on city council, reached out to me and asked if I had some interest in partnering with him to just come up with a plan and a thought, and so him and I had several cups of coffee, went over to the park, got some ideas, and then Jordan's involved on the Kiwanis Club. They've since recruited me as one of their newest members, but Jordan then took, I think, the idea back to the Kiwanis Club, and they had some interest, and I moved things forward on the city side, and it's all come together pretty quickly then.
And Judy Ward, you're kind of a big thing in Kiwanis, not just locally here. I think you've got something going on here, right?
Oh, I do at this point, yes. Now I have 8 clubs instead of 1.
So you're a regional then?
They call it a division.
Division. Okay.
So we're the Potawatomi division.
Okay.
And I have,
spell that for me. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
I've learned to do that.
Yeah, I bet you have. All right, so you're part of the Kiwanis, obviously locally here. Glad that you got him involved, and of course Jordan, and you guys do the pancake breakfast. And you do all kinds of projects.
We do. And when we did Hannah Park 2 years ago, our thought was at that time that once we got that project completed, we would start raising money again and save toward doing another park. So really this has been a 2-year thought process, but we're just now actually getting it started with the help of Jordan spearheading and Mitch being kind of a co-chair on that. And then we do have a committee of Southside residents as well as Kiwanis members.
Well, it's nice. And, in the day and age of where we're trying to get livability a big thing in Wabash, and obviously a focus on downtown, there are some residents outside the downtown area that would like to see us do some things. Hannah Park is one that was off of the downtown area. And now Southside Park, Mitch. This is going to be exciting out there.
Yeah, that's something I've talked about for a long time with Southside. Wabash has done great improvements downtown. Even we look north at the Field of Dreams. And, for Southside, those families, it's not easy to walk, even to the Riverwalk. You have some pretty steep hills there. And so those families really are, kind of left with what we have available on the South Side. And so being their representative on City Council, we've talked about issues, sidewalks, other things, but the park always came up as something that, those families, we have a really high demographic of young families on South Side, families with kids, and the park really had gone into disrepair. Equipment is broke. Things just don't look nice anymore, and so I know I had talked early on about the idea that park needed to be renovated, and so when Jordan came to me and had this idea, I was obviously excited because it's going to be great for all those families who live on the South Side, and may even attract families who don't live on the South Side who just think it's a cool park and want to come over and enjoy it.
Now, Judy, the Kiwanis, they were involved in the Hannah Park project, right?
Right. We kind of spearheaded that and talked with, at that time, Todd Titus to help us with the Parks Department. And so we're the ones who did the fundraising to get it started and wrote the grants and things for that project. And I think we geared it about $50,000 for that. Had a little left, so that's kind of helped us with the 10 that we have pledged to do this park to get it started.
Awesome. Well, great idea.
The city matched it with another 10, so we have 20,000 at this point.
Nice.
And we're again hoping for about 50 total, so we have a lot of work to do yet.
Well, that's great. Mitch, obviously you live right across the street from it, and I'm a South Sider, and I try to walk a lot out there, and WC Mills has that great big grassy area, but you see that park tucked in behind the fire station, or maybe you don't see that park tucked back there. What a great location, though. You got 24-hour people sitting right there.
Yep, and that's one thing, as Jordan and I and the committee have talked about the park, one thing that the park needs beyond equipment is signage, because it's easy to drive right by that park and realize it's not there. And so we want to make sure it's not only an attractive park, but that people know it's there and available. We've talked about parking and the sidewalks and how you get into the park. And so what I like about the committee and the diversity the committee has is we're not just talking about playground equipment, but talking about the whole project. How do we make sure that that park can be used by as many people as possible? And you're right, with the fire department right there, a city councilman across the street, it definitely helps to, have some eyes in that park, and I think that everyone will really enjoy it when it's done.
Awesome. All right. So the vision from Kiwanis and Jordan Tandy and all you guys there. What kind of equipment do you want to see in this park? Update what you've got, or start all over? What's going to happen?
I think we want to update what's there, what is, paint what can be painted and make it look nicer. Some of it probably isn't enough disrepair. We're going to have to take it out. And then we want to do a nice big playground structure similar to what we did at Hannah Park. So that would probably be about close to $20,000 of the money we're trying to raise right there.
Okay.
But a really nice play structure for the kids.
So the dollar amount that you're trying to do for phase one or whatever, are there more phases in phase one, or what?
Well, I think the goal is around 50,000, and that would do the 20,000 for that large play structure. Again, some money to fix the equipment that's there. Again, we talk about parking, signage, some fencing, and so all that adds up fairly quickly. So I think this initial phase is 50,000, but much like Hannah Park, if we raise 60,000, what that allows that committee to do is to either add some things that maybe were on our dream list, or to put some money back again and say, what park do we want to tackle next? There are still other parks in the city. So
yeah. All right. So fundraising is a big thing. Chili for Charity was just this past Saturday. And, everybody is looking for some money. There's no question about it. Nonprofits, all kinds of organizations looking for it. So how are we going to raise this $50,000?
Well, we had all the grants we can find. Kiwanis International has a grant that we will apply for, and then Indiana Kiwanis also has a grant that we will hope to get. We got both of those last time when we did the park. So those will be two that we try. We've applied to Community Foundation. The Lutherans, there's a Thrivent or something that they have, which is a small grant that helps us out. And we're just looking, a lot of different places. Operation Roundup will be one, and then we'll do fundraising letters in the community asking businesses and individuals to donate to our project as well.
The kids need a bunch of lemonade stands.
That's right.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about the park projects, both Hannah Park and this one, is how it really lets the city, as we look at the city's budget, we don't have 50,000, to put into a neighborhood park. And so what this allows the city to do is to put, 10, maybe a little more than that, $1,000 in, offer some city resources through the park department, but then leverage, the significant private investment to say, how do we improve a city park without putting a burden on the taxpayer? And so that's what I think this, and I've talked about this in other communities, is when you talk about fixing a park, it doesn't have to be the city saying, well, we've got to spend 50,000, 60,000. It's how do we leverage these groups like Kiwanis and just the neighbors who would put some money into the project. And I think we're building a great model, not only to use in Wabash, but a model that could be taken to other communities. And
one of these, the athletic places, the training places, is doing a fundraiser for us.
Yep. One of the CrossFit. It's Waddoween is what it's called. And so we have a Facebook page, the Southside Park Project on Facebook. So all
Say
those
that again.
Southside Park Project.
Is that one word, Southside?
Nope, two words.
Okay.
It's always the big debate ever since I started my campaign when we're two words, but we've kept it as 2 words, but we have information on that. And then we also have a Dan's Fish and Tenderloin Fry coming up here on October 22nd. That'll be from 4 to 7 at the Zion Lutheran Church. And so, people don't think about, I think they think about the $10,000 grants, but really a lot of this money will come $10, $20, $30 at a time from people who just come out to fish fry, or who mail a check in or go to CrossFit and do a fundraiser through them. And
we hope if the community gets behind us on this fish and tenderloin, we should be able to clear 2,500 to 3,000.
Nice.
So we're hoping for that to be a big boost.
Everybody's got to eat.
That's right.
Everybody
so that's one way to do it. That's great.
And Dan's Fish and Tenderloin does a good job for us. So.
That's awesome. So when do you think this project's going to be complete? One of you?
Well, the goal, as Jordan and I have talked, is right now we're in the fundraising and planning stage, trying to figure out what we want it to look like. The goal I gave Jordan is my hope would be we can do installation early in the spring, and I'd love to see the park completed by the time school is out next year, because we talk about when a park's going to get the most use, it's during that summer break. So I know my goal, and the goal I have shared, has been to try to be done by the time school is out in May.
Okay. So you're going to have some work days and stuff like we did at Hannah Park?
We will do that.
Yeah.
That was actually fun. The community came together and really...
It was fun to see the community come together.
I actually painted. I can't believe it. I know it. Did anybody get a picture of that? Because nobody would believe it.
And I think we'll paint the shelter that's there
Yep.
at the South Side Park as well.
Right.
There's a little structure, and we'll probably paint that. And
So, Mitch, do your kids currently play in that park? Or?
We go over there some. The bad thing is the park has gone into so much disrepair. There's not a lot of equipment that works there, and so we go over there some. We have a nice backyard, so they play back there. But we sit on our front porch and see families use that park frequently, and I know as it's improved and has more to offer that those families will be there more. My wife also runs a daycare out of our home, and so she's excited because
Field trip
she can take
across the street.
those kids right across the street, and so I think it'll be a great way to get more kids outside, recreation. We talk about childhood obesity, family engagement, and parks speak to both of those, getting out, being active, and engaging families together.
Well, it is a Pokestop, from what I remember.
Okay.
There is so you might see some people wandering around there. I caught a couple Pokemon there, so yeah. I take it you're not into that.
I'm not into that, but I know the museum's also a Pokestop.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that's great. And I know one thing we've talked about as well is lighting and security. Obviously, if we're going to invest $50,000 into the park, making sure there's lighting, some security cameras, because we want to protect that investment all those donors made to make the park better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Judy, you guys do great things there at the Kiwanis Club. This is an awesome project. Do you like that goal of that?
I do, and that was my idea when we were doing the Hannah Park. I thought, okay, then that was kind of my brainchild to get it started. I said, we do things for kids, so we need to do a major project. So when we did Hannah Park, that was wonderful. But now we want to do something else wonderful, and as I said, that was a 2-year vision anyway, so we thought we wanted to do this, and then we'll see what else we can do.
Now, obviously, this is a city-owned property, and so the upkeep will be done by the Parks Department.
Yep.
Okay. Are you familiar with Marion's Mater Park and what they've done? I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff. It's amazing what all they've done, but they've done a lot of things with businesses or donors, families, wanting to put a bench or whatever. Is that an option? Are there organizations that can actually, hey, I want to do $5,000 now? Could you name this bench or can you name this slide? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the community.
I would think we could.
Yeah.
I know you can get recycled park benches, and then there are different benches around town with the renovation of things. And I'm sure we could do that, and if a significant donation, or if they wanted to totally fund one, I'm sure we could get a little plate to put on to recognize.
I mean, because that's what they've done in Marion. Almost every section of that is,
Yep.
I think there's a memorial, like a Vietnam veteran memorial that you walk up to, and that's done by that family. And so I think a lot of that was not even city paid for, that park over there.
Yep.
So maybe that's just I just wanted to throw it out there and give some people an idea.
Yep.
It's getting towards the end of the year. People are trying to figure out a way to,
That's right.
Yep.
We'll take money from any source we
That's
can
right.
There you go.
get, as long as it's legal.
Yeah. And one thing I've talked about at city council meetings and that I've been out is we also want to hear if someone has an idea. We're thinking from Hannah Park, and Adam, park superintendent, has been involved, and so we're looking at equipment needs from what we think. But if a family who lives on South Side or who uses that park thinks, man, I always wish there was X. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear what they think that park might need. Does it need more benches? Does it need maybe something that's more all-inclusive? We're talking a lot about all-inclusiveness in parks now with the new park coming in down by the YMCA, and why we realize this park won't be to that scale and won't be all-inclusive. If we could add elements that speak to those families, we'd love to include those as well. So I think at this point the committee is wide open to ideas, and we'd love to hear what Southside residents want to see that park be when it's completed.
All right, and again, you can actually can you put a reply on that Southside Park Facebook page?
Yeah, I know you can send us messages because I've
Messages,
read some on there, and then of course you can reach out to anyone on Kiwanis, Judy, Beth Miller, Jordan, and then myself at the museum. Give us a call, let us know ideas. If you know where I live, come across the street from on the front porch and just have a chat. So
Kiwanis has a Facebook page as well.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
So
Well, Mitch Feigert, city councilman here in Wabash, they can get a hold of you how, besides walking up to your door?
The museum, you can, City Hall, I have a Facebook page as well for City Council, so if you Google Mitch Feigert, I can guarantee, I don't think there's any other Mitch Feigerts in the world, so I think you'll find me, but more than happy to have people stop by the museum and talk to me there.
All right, and Judy Ward, how can they get a hold of you?
I have a Facebook page as well, so if they would, and if they don't want it to be a public message, they can do a message instead of actually a Facebook post, and be glad to find answers for them and share their opinions.
That's great. We've been talking with Judy Ward from the Kiwanis, and also Mitch Feigert, Kiwanis / City Councilman / Museum / all the other hats he's wearing. I wish he was wearing a hat today because we're Facebook Live.
That's right. Yeah,
Live
it's a little glare
I'm
there.
messing with you. You can tell. You can see I'm not on camera.
That's right.
I put you guys on here. But we wanted to do this Facebook. It's not live, but we'll make a video and make sure it's up there. We're also live putting this on the radio. It's a Sunday morning Wabash Talks program. Again, it's the South Side Park Project. And anything else you guys want to add to this, make sure everybody knows about.
We could say that if anybody wants to do a donation in the form of a check, they could send it to our post office box for Kiwanis Club, which is box 699.
Okay.
So we could get mail that way for
Tax
donations.
deductible through the Kiwanis?
They could be tax deductible because we are I guess we're not a 501c3, but we're something that they still can get some tax benefits.
Okay, great.
If they want to do that.
And I think just a reminder that we have that Fish and Tenderloin Fry October 22nd, 4 to 7, Zion Lutheran Church. That's a great opportunity not only to come support, but all the committee members will be there. So even if you don't want to eat, just come talk to us and let us know
and
your
we didn't
thoughts.
talk about price. We probably should do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Children 6 to 12, pre-sale is $6.50 and at the door will be $7. And then 13 and older adults will be $8.50 pre-sale and $9 at the door.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on another great project. Let's get this thing put to rest and put to bed, and let's have some work days there later on in the spring.
Perfect. We'll have a
Let's get
paintbrush
it
for you.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I do like to paint big space. I won't trim, but I don't mind painting big spaces.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, again, thanks to Judy Ward and also Mitch Feigert. You've been listening to another Wabash Talks here on 105.9 The Bash and AM 1510.